Pike County Fiscal Court call to order. Madam Clerk, have a roll call. The members, please.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Magistrate Anderson.
Here.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson. Magistrate Harris.
Here. We now have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We need the approval of the minutes of October 25th and November the 15th. I have read those, and Jeannie has reviewed both of them. And you have, of course, a copy in your files. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy, second for Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Yes. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson. Yes. Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yeah, I'd like to ask the county attorney, Mr. Case, to give us an update. Lee and Pearl Elliott was involved in a accident. And Roland, if you would give us an update, she, of course, is in the hospital in Lexington.
Yes, Lillian got transferred to Lexington. She underwent surgery yesterday on her ankle and came through the surgery fine and is resting comfortably. Unfortunately, as we know, Lillian spends just about every waking moment here at the courthouse, but she will be off of her feet for a while, but she is recovering nicely. She's at the University of Kentucky Medical Center now.
I can remember the last holiday we had on a Monday that we didn't work, and I was in the office working, and of course, Leanne visited me twice. And the second time she come up, she said, we're still the only two people in the courthouse that's working today. But one of her lady friends told me on the telephone today, said she's a tough old bird. She's had a lot of things happen to her. As you know, she broke her hip, and she's had a lot of things, and she bounces right back. And of course, want to keep Lee and Pearl in our prayers, and wish her a quick recovery. And she's in Lexington, and I presume she'll probably go to Cardinal Hill, I think, maybe, after about 10 days. So we now have public comments, and I think, Ms. Runyon, if you'll come around, I think you have an invoice to present to and the treasurer's not down there yet. If you would give it to the clerk, she can receive it. Be fine.
I'll give it to her.
Judge, this is an invoice for the FEMA grant that we had written back in the summer of last year.
Yes.
And it had not been presented before because it would have been included in the administration, but you're doing the administration in-house. So I had prepared this invoice.
We've had a discussion with Frankfurt, and they said you'd probably submit one, so we'll get it to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And thank you. And you have something set on the date? We got a notice. We have a date on a breakfast.
We actually do have several things coming up in December. One is the breakfast with the legislators. We are working with Kentucky River Ad to do a joint legislators breakfast. Right. This year we usually do it at our office and just have our legislators and our judges and mayors. But this year Mike Miller and I decided we might be a little more effective if we have all the mountain legislators together. So I have confirmation from most of ours that will be there.
Leo and I had a conversation before we started the meeting tonight in regard to severance tax. It might be a good opportunity for the magistrates to come, Leo and others, so that we can have a discussion with them in regard to severance tax, since we're in a regular session, and we're talking about more money coming back to the counties from severance tax, and that'd be a good time to have a discussion with them. And of course, we're going to talk about the trail system. Can do that also at that.
We are going to talk about that, and you're perfectly welcome. It's 9 o'clock at Jenny Wiley. Downstairs in the restaurant, we'll have a buffet breakfast downstairs in the restaurant.
At 9 o'clock on the, what date?
19th of December.
Okay,
And
thank you.
just also to tell you that we're having regular open house at Big Sandy Ad on the 15th during our regular board meeting. So we're having a short board meeting at 11:30 and then open house to follow until 3 o'clock, and everybody's certainly welcome to come to that.
Sandy, what exactly is the bill for? What are we getting a bill for?
It is for the FEMA, the hazard mitigation grant that you all received for flood proofing the homes that were flooded over in the Raccoon area.
And the Big Sandy ad is you all did the work to get the
they
FEMA
prepared
grant
the-
for us?
Prepare the application for submittal.
Yes, we did.
Sandy, I was talking to a gentleman, a hunt guy over the weekend, and he was telling me that Raccoon was not included in the buyout process. Is that true or
There
not
were
true?
25 homes, I believe, and Jimmy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was 25 homes, 26 identified in this particular grant that you were awarded. They have already been identified with all the information submitted with the grant.
So most of that was probably at Winds Branch?
Jimmy?
Yeah, it's at Winds Branch and then part of down in Zebulon too. Why a lot of them wasn't on Coon Creek, wasn't in the grant, is to be eligible, you had to be in a MAP floodplain. And Raccoon Creek's not in a MAP floodplain, so that didn't make them eligible for the grant.
Normally, when you all get a grant for us, you're paid out of the administration fee. Were you not paid out of the administration fee?
We
in this?
have discussed with Frankfurt's, and we're to submit it to Frankfurt. I'll talk to them again. They expected a invoice to come from the ad district.
But I mean, I guess my question is, I thought when the ad got a grant for the county, that the ad was paid out of the administration fee for the grant.
The county is going to administer this grant, and Frankie is going to oversee the grants. And
Well, how much are we paying for? I mean, did Big Sandy Ad not want to administer the grant?
no, it was our decision of who would do the.
Our being who?
It would mean the Pike County's decision of who did the grant.
Well, I wasn't involved in that decision.
Well, I can give you the layout of what happened.
Okay.
The state recommended that we consider doing the grant in-house. One reason, because, give you an example, the last flood that we had, and we just had an audit, and I told Frankie, Mr. Stacy, I said, I thought you was perfect, but he made a $25.89 mistake out of $7 million. And so we decided that, and I say we, that is in consulting with Frankfurt, that it would be done in-house. We also, our engineer, which is Summit Engineering, has a good relationship with FEMA, and so they recommended it, and we considered it, and we told them, fine, we'll be glad to do that.
Well, I'm a little confused. What FEMA is a
Let me
federal
say
agency,
this.
so
You
what
need-
does Frankfurt have to do?
Jeannie, do you have the copy of the reasons that we are handling this in-house? You'll get a copy of that. I'll be glad to read it to them.
Judge, you know, I'm so pleased to see the people in Winds Branch and Zebulon area get this help because they've been flooded several times. And the question, though, that was brought to me is why that Coon Creek
is.
wasn't included in the buyout process. You know, Coon Creek is not in my district. It's in Leo's there, and Arwell Hunt's son was one that asked me, and he said his house was on the front page of the newspaper when the flood came, and it destroyed his home and several others up in Coon Creek. So, Sandy, do they have to go and apply for more funding for the buyout, or how will they come into play, Jimmy, with
Jimmy.
getting some help?
We tried to get them in the grant, but one of the stipulations for you to be eligible to receive this money is you had to be in a MAP floodplain, and that a mapped floodplain. And that area is not in a map floodplain. And so then that kicked them out, just like they were 6 homes in Blackburn Bottom that we wanted to elevate. You know, they didn't want bought out, they just wanted elevated. And we had them all signed up, and then when it come to meet the benefit cost analysis, you couldn't elevate them because they was in a floodway. Even though you can build in a floodway, if you do certain restrictions, they wouldn't elevate them. So we had to kick 6 or 7 homes out of Blackburn Bottom. And it's just, there's a lot of stipulations that you have to meet to be eligible to receive this money. But the hunts are at, I think that's Raccoon Court, I believe, is where that was at. We tried to get them in, but they
Jeannie,
couldn't
let
meet.
me ask, did you give a copy of this? Did it go in the magistrate's box? The letter that we sent on the reasons why that it was. Let me read this letter to the ad district. I have decided it would be in the best interest of the people served by Pike County government to do this project in-house. We seriously considered the request of Big Sandy Area Development District, Pike County Housing Authority, and LADA. Pike County Housing Authority asked that they be able to administer this grant, which is done in many areas. And LADA, which we know what LADA is, that is Mr. Johnson is chairman, they also made the request. We held several meetings and made phone calls to Kentucky emergency management staff before the decision was made. The following reasons of why we should do this project in-house. We have a CPA grants person on our staff, Frankie Stacy. He has handled around $28.3 million in 8 disasters over the past 10 years. He knows FEMA regulations like the back of his hand. He will oversee the administration of the grant. We also have another CPA on staff, Rhonda James, Pike County Finance Commissioner. Her office is located in the Pike County Courthouse, and she will be available to help with the administration of the grant. Someone in the courthouse will be available at all times to answer the homeowners' questions and not have to send them to Prestonsburg or to call Prestonsburg. Pike County engineer Jack Sykes of Summit Engineering has a very good working relationship with FEMA, has done work with the agency on many declarations. The point person for the Pike County project will be Jimmy Kaiser, Pike County Floodplain Coordinator. His office is located in the Pike County Courthouse. In other words, if they got a question, he'll be here to can answer their question. Pike County Attorney, who will be giving legal advice from the beginning to the end of this project, is also located at the Pike County Courthouse. We used to thank Big Sandy Development District and others who had input on the request for these funds. Nothing can be done alone, and we must all work together. That was the reasons for doing this project in-house. They do have it in their, be fine. Thank you, Jeannie.
I guess my question then, judges, what's the bill? I don't know what the bill is. We just got handed a bill. What's the bill? How much are we paying for?
I have a copy for everyone if you'd like it.
That would come out of the grant. And I talked to them down there, and they said they expected possibly a bill would come, and to let them know when we did.
Yeah.
She give you a copy, hold on.
I think there's 10 there, I believe.
I don't have a copy of what Jeannie's talking about. He wants this, that order that you just read. They said it's in the package and it wasn't.
If I might answer just a little bit of your question, Chris, when you look at the bill, you will see we had about 170 hours included in the grant application. Typically, we have not been charging for grant writing. I don't believe that Pike County has ever paid us for grant writing.
I was going to say, I don't ever remember getting a bill from Big Sandy Ad.
We don't. We typically do not charge for that. We're working right now, I think, with Doug on a couple of grants that he is getting ready to submit, and we've worked with
Ms. Ronnie, let me ask you, is the role of the ad to assist county governments and city governments?
yes, sir, it is, and that's what we do.
With your staff? You're all not in to make profit?
No, we do not.
No, I understand that. I know that part of the way that you've been able to survive in the past is through writing these grants and working off of the administration fee that comes along with them.
Correct.
This is the first time that I can recall that you all have written a grant for us, and we've not used you to administer that grant, and now we're getting a bill for $6,800 for your all's work, which you've done a lot of work on it. I understand that you deserve to, you can't just work, your entity can't operate and function without income.
Well, most of the grants that we have written actually don't come with administration. Most of what we write for, the smaller grants that we write for Pike County don't come with administration, and so we don't get paid anything to do that. It comes out of the joint funding agreement that we have for our staff.
Okay, so the $6,800 bill will be paid out of the administration fee
That
for
would
the
be
grant.
Frankfurt's decision in my conversations with them, and they may want to talk to you about the bill, and I'm sure you'll be glad to discuss it with
I
them.
will.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions? No questions, we'll move on the agenda. Adoption of a resolution supporting construction of a shelter on Birch Area Knob of Pine Mountain Trail. I think you had a picture to put up on the screen. This is between Elkhorn City. This is the Pine Mountain Trail. Mr. Baker, there's your map of the trail. It runs from Elkhorn City. The trail runs to Kingdom Come State Park, 22 miles, I believe, if I'm correct.
It runs to Pound Gap and then it goes on down.
It goes to Pound Gap on this map Judge Hayes was showing me, and then it goes on to Kingdom Come Park, and then it goes down to the Tennessee border. But this is part of the plan to build shelters on that, and this is the first shelter to be built. And they want a letter. They have a foundation. You have also in your packet a letter. They want a support letter and a resolution passed by the court of supporting this, and the money comes from a national foundation. Are there any questions in regard to the request? No, they're going to, go ahead, Judge Hayes. He's been talking to Mr. Baker, who's the head of the committee.
I know just a little bit about it, just enough to be dangerous, but we don't have anything to do with the building. They sent us a plan. It's for overnight sheltering of hikers on that trail. We did have a sketch of that. I don't know if it's in the magistrate's packet or not, but that is not even, we're not going to have a dime in it. Really, they just want a resolution of support from this court. It's all they're asking for so that they can get this built. This trail, by the way, is within the boundary of the Linear State Park, which runs from Elkhorn City up to Pound Gap in Letcher County. That was part of the effort of Governor Patton before he left office.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we adopt a resolution.
Motion by Magistrate Harris, have a second by Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson. Yes. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes. We need approval for delinquent solid waste bills to be placed on the 2012 tax bills.
Motion.
Motion by Magistrate Harris. To have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson. Yes. Mr. Johnson. Yes. Mr. Murphy. Yes. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Judge, in that regard, I'd like to, I think it's been some time since we filed suit on any of the delinquent garbage bills again. I think it's time for a review of those delinquent accounts and find if there are any accounts that are excessive that we need to look at filing suit to collect those garbage bills on.
Mr. County Attorney?
Yes, I'll work with Mike's office, and we'll go through those. A lot of those have taken care of themselves through the purchase of property tax tickets by third parties, but probably would be good to go through them again.
I got a note from a fellow this week that said there was 10 to 15 that had over $100,000 in delinquencies on their garbage bills, and their tax bills were over $100,000 because of garbage bills. So that's something that we obviously need to look at.
Mr. Lyons, you have a comment? Need approval of posted checks for mailing yearly solid waste bills and notification of delinquent bills being placed on the 2012 tax ticket pursuant to KRS 109.310. Have a motion, a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Need to authorize the county treasurer to pay upon notice from the Solid Waste Department to U.S. Postmaster to mail solid waste annual billings and annual renewal fees not to exceed $12,000. For the year 2011, the postage is $8,797.50 plus the annual fee. Any questions? We have a motion. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We have a request from the board, and the board does not handle this. The city of Pikeville and the court makes a decision on any amending of the bylaws. The city of Pikeville has amended the bylaws of the following. One is to have proxies. The bylaws didn't have proxies, and the position that we have on there, one is the magistrate's position did not have a proxy when they're not present. So this gives them a proxy, and there's one other position that didn't have a proxy, and it lets them do it. If we fail to have a proxy, and then we operate under the statute where the bill should be paid in 30 days, we don't have a way to pay the bills. This change in the bylaws also gives us, and Mr. County Attorney, you reviewed this along with the city attorney, so you may give your advice and statement, please.
Judge, there's a summary of the changes. They're all very straightforward changes, nothing that I found to be alarming or a drastic change. It changes all references from Pikeville College to the University of Pikeville, which is self-explanatory. It changes when the annual membership sponsorship fee is due. As you mentioned, it did add or proxy, because I had attended a couple of meetings on behalf of the magistrate, and it turned out that there was no provision in the bylaws for the magistrate to have a proxy, and then it allowed for certain small bills not to exceed $2,500 to be paid in between meetings, subject to approval at the next meeting. These are very straightforward changes, and I would recommend that the court adopt a resolution amending the bylaws as indicated in the highlighted portions of the package.
Are there any questions? No question. Have a motion. Motion from Mr. Anderson. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. I think all of us are aware of the situation on Ridgeline Road. County Fiscal Court has provided water for those people after the coal company that mined in there, which was McCoy Elkhorn, and they lost their water. So we've had a problem of getting the volunteer fire departments to haul water into that area because of the mountainous area. Grapevine Fire Department's truck tore up his hauling in. Doug Tackett, he's already a little gray-headed, but he's got more gray-headed about for the last few months of how trying it's been to get water to these people on an emergency basis. So we decided that there had to be a better way to do this. So we contacted the coal company, which is now James River, who purchased McCoy Elkhorn, and they have agreed, and we have a check, it's in the bank, to buy a water truck for the use up there. Hopefully, in the future, that they're also going to contribute $250,000 to the water district to help get water into Johnnyton and Upper Pompey. The water is on in Hurricane. So we now have the money in the bank, and we need to authorize the treasurer to issue the check. Bobby Branham and others have worked, Judge Hayes and Doug and everybody else has worked trying to locate a water truck for the last month or two. Finally, we found one, and where is it, Bobby? Tell us about the truck you've located and where it's at.
The truck's up in right outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania, in Ransom something, little township there right outside of Scranton. It's $10,000 for just a tanker truck with a pump and things on it. It's supposed to be a real good truck. We think we've got arrangements made with Landstar or whoever to haul it down here for us.
So we need the authorization for the treasurer to issue the check. And Bobby, you're gonna wire it, or how you gonna?
We'll overnight a check tomorrow. The lady at the clerk there, Francine Miller, I think was her name there in that little township, and we'll just overnight it to her by mail if it can still go overnight.
Judge Hayes has worked on this too, so he knows about it.
Yeah, we found out, and Doug can tell you, water trucks are scarce as hen's teeth. This one does have a stainless steel tank. It's the appropriate size. We found some big ones, but it takes just the right size to get water in and out of those steep watersheds of Upper Pompey and Johnnyton, and so we think this one will really suit the bill. Now, one of the problems is we've gotten the money in hand, Judge, for the truck itself. The treasurer has that check in hand. But we're going to have that truck sent down here, Bobby, and you might want to tell what that is, because I believe we need to get authorization to pay that too.
Yeah,
John Doug, it might be a good idea. It's going to be about $2,800 to have it hauled down here on
I see no reason why the
trucking
coal company, Bobby, won't pay that either.
Yeah.
They also discussed with me during this of any more water that we haul in there, Doug, that the coal company will pay us for. We've been paying for the water. So that they're going to pay us for the water.
You know, in this whole deal, it's been a long kind of turmoil.
So it means that if we work with our coal corporation that's in here, that they can partnership with us and we can get things done. And we've been a long time of bringing this to fruition, but now we have the money in the bank and can. So the motion would authorize the of not only paying for the truck, but paying for once the company gives us the money, since we found out how much it is, once they can get us a check for the $2,800 for the truck, for hauling the truck down here.
Judge, is the company gonna operate the truck, or who's gonna operate, the fire department?
Oh, Doug, you can answer that,
Our truck. We had, I think, we had talked to the fire department over at Grapevine about operating the truck.
Yes, their truck broke down and they couldn't get back on the mountain. Then we had Kemper. And let me say this, I want to thank the co-run fire department because for a number of months, we had to depend on them for their water truck to haul water back to those people. And
we've had several fire departments contribute, and this has been long drawn out, and it's a sad situation. And I met with McCoy Elkhorn last week too, and he said he had sent the check in. And Randall Taylor, he seemed like he's very interested in helping us. You know, he's president over there, and I want to thank Doug. You know, and you get the phone calls, and I do too. And
Leo's talked to me dozens and dozens of times over the last few years.
But you know, the key word to all of our fire departments is volunteer. And you can't force volunteers to haul this or do that, you know, and everything. So even if we can't get somebody like that, maybe our public works department may sometimes deliver the water for us or something. I hope, anyway.
Good shape.
Yeah. But I'll go ahead and make the motion on that.
Have a motion by Magistrate Murphy, have a second by Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson, Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. We have several appointments to boards and commissions. That's is coming up on the last day of this month, and we had a request from a lot of the boards that we had recommendations on and a list to pick from. The county attorney's office has reviewed the proper statutes on these. And we have the first appointment is a reappointment of the recommendation of Carl Napier to be on the Pike County Health Board. Do I have a motion to?
I'd like to make a motion, and Carl, try to keep them taxes down, honey, if you can.
Have a motion by Magistrate Dodson, second by Magistrate Johnson.
Judge, if you would, you need to make the nomination and let Mr. Dodson second it. It's your
My
appointment
nomination,
subject to
recommend
fiscal
that
court approval.
I'll make the motion. I recommend Carl Napier, and the second is by Magistrate Dodson. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes, thank you, Mr. County Attorney. Appointments to the Pike County Extension Board, we had a recommendation, and Jeannie, I think the recommendation was from their advisory board, they call it, or council. The Pike County Extension Board Council, and that was reappointment of Joey Collins, Dr. Joey Collins, veterinarian, who is present chairman, and Eddie Coleman, whose term expires. Do I have any questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a
Again,
motion
Judge,
by Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Have a second. I make the motion, and second by Magistrate Anderson. And we'll have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Appointments to the Pike County Tourism Board. We have the recommendations and had a list, and the submission from that list is the name of Debbie Huffman of the Landmark, and these are they're statutory. They have to be in certain categories. Teresa Duncan of the Holiday Inn Express, and O'Celine Hall, and those all expire on the last day of the year. We also have a recommendation representing on that board under that section of the statute is Tim Collins. He is a manager of Food City. This was a new appointment left in a vacancy from a resignation. Are there any questions? No questions. I'll make the motion and ask for a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes, and Jeannie, I want to thank you for keeping up with those boards and commissions and bringing them to our attention and making sure that we kept these boards up so they could have a quorum, because all of these, as mentioned today, is very important to Pike County. We need to approve and renew the lease with the Finance and Administration Cabinet, Department of Facilities and Support Services for property located at US 119, Suite 111, Belfry. Health and Family Services, that's at the Belfry Courthouse. Motion by Magistrate Harris. Have a second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson. Magistrate Harris. Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Need approval to renew the lease for the Finance and Administration Cabinet, Department of Facilities and Support Services for county property located at 36 Mingo Street at Phelps, Cabinet for Health and Family Services.
Motion.
Motion by Magistrate Dodson. Have a second. Have a second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Need approval to renew the lease for the Finance Administration Cabinet for facilities and support for property located in the Pike County Courthouse to the Kentucky Department of Corrections and Mental Health Services. And that is an office that's Mr. Blankenship. He is from Peter Creek. That they've had for some time in the basement. He is a counselor with this department, and that's his office is located in the basement adjacent to our community services and energy office.
Motion.
Is this a one-year lease?
Bobby, would you speak to that, please?
It could be longer. This is 2013 is what we put on here. It just continues it through the next year.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we're going to have some space available in the Hall of Justice building real soon, and we need to be looking for some tenants to help fill that up because
I think they would love to move over there when that becomes available, and we would have some more space within this building for some.
Would they pay a higher rate of rent than what they're paying now based on the square feet?
If they're like all these other government entities, they're not going to want to. I don't look and see what they're paying now. I think they're paying $8 a foot down here.
Well, we're going to be short on when the AOC moves out of the Hall of Justice, the county is going to be short that income, and we're going to need something to make up. If we're going to cover our bond payments on that building over there, we're going to need something to make up the difference. So we need to be looking for tenants, new tenants, I guess, for the Hall of Justice.
Right now, they're paying $8 a foot.
Okay, so the rent now is based on the square footage.
Yes, just $8 a feet for however much space they actually use. Them and the probation, parole, and everybody.
Okay.
We need approval for the lease with the Finance Administration.
Judge,
Did you get a vote on that?
we didn't
Madam
get a
Clerk?
second.
Go right ahead.
We need a second. Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dotson. Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Need approval to renew the lease with the Finance Administration Cabinet, Department of Facilities and Support Services for property located on the third floor of the Pike County Courthouse from the Kentucky Department of Probation, Parole, and Corrections. Any questions?
Motion.
Have a motion. Have a second. Master Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dotson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Mr. County Attorney, second reading of amendment to change the administrative code for selling leave time.
Judge, this is a second reading. It's an ordinance of the Fiscal Court of Pike County, Kentucky, amending the Administrative Code, Section 445, 6, to provide that accumulated leave by hourly employees can be sold twice yearly, whereas a county judge executive can propose amendments to the Administrative Code at any time, and whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court desires to limit the sale of accumulated leave to twice yearly. Now, therefore, it be ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Pike, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that Section 445, 6 is amended to provide as follows. Section 445, vacation, sub 6. Hourly employees shall have the option of being paid for the accumulated vacation leave, personal leave, or taking the leave. It must be used in blocks of 40 hours. The option of being paid can be exercised on May 15th or November 15th of each year. In way of explanation, Judge, the only change is adding that the option of being paid can be exercised only on May 15th or November 15th of each year. This is an accommodation for the Finance Department because any time that this option was being exercised, the Finance Department was having to make what's called a mini run of the payroll, and this way they'll only have to make 2 mini runs twice yearly. This ordinance was prepared at the request of the Finance Department. That is a second reading, would require a motion, second, and majority vote.
Thank you, Mr. County Attorney. Have a motion. Have a motion. Have a second. Have a second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dotson. Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Awarding of bids, Mr. Stacy.
I have one bid to present to the court. It's bid number 39 of 2011 for 4 concrete bridges at various locations in District 5. We had 6 bidders on each bridge. Bridge number 1 is on Rattlesnake Road. Bid 1 is Prater Construction. Bid price $57,900. Bidder number 2, Jackie Darrell Smith Enterprise Phelps, $53,190. Bidder number 3, Pikewell Paving, $69,370. Bid number 4 is Jared's Construction, $79,728. Bid number 5 is Trey Atkins, $48,850. And bid number 6 is Evans Construction, $63,838. The lowest evaluated bidder for bridge number 1 is Rattlesnake Road. Bridge number 2 is Hurricane at Kemper. This is the first bridge.
Frankie, I think you misspoke. You said the lowest evaluated bid is Rattlesnake Road, I think.
Oh, lowest evaluated bidder is Trey Atkins with the bid price of $48,850. These 4 bridges are contingent on a state reimbursement grant for bridge replacement. So each of these bids would have to be contingent on the fact that the money would be in place.
Correct.
Approved by the state. The road commissioner's on vacation this week, and I couldn't check to make sure that the money was going to be there before presenting the bids. Bridge number 2 is Hurricane at Kemper, the first bridge. Prater Construction, $51,725. Jackie Darrell Smith Enterprise, $53,190. Pikewell Paving, $45,350. Jared's Construction, $48,531. Trey Atkins, $29,250. And Evans Construction, $50,455. And the lowest evaluated bidder is Trey Atkins with the lowest evaluated bid price of $29,250. Bridge number 3 is Hurricane at Kemper, the second bridge. Prater Construction, $51,750. Jackie Darrell Smith Enterprise, $50,074.85. Pikewell Paving, $45,350. Jared's Construction, $48,531. Trey Atkins, $29,250. And Evans Construction, $50,760. And the lowest evaluated bidder is Trey Atkins with the lowest evaluated bid price of $29,250. Bridge number 4 is on Camp Creek Road. Prater Construction, $51,799. Jackie Darrell Smith Enterprise, $89,995. Pikewell Paving, $51,750. Jared's Construction, $43,495. Trey Atkins, $28,000. Evans Construction, $48,761. And the lowest evaluated bidder is Trey Atkins with the lowest evaluated bid price of $28,000.
Trey Atkins is present, I think, in the courtroom, and Magistrate Harris, I think he did the bridge over there, and I went over with and inspected the bridge. Very good job. I thought that the bridge going over there, Magistrate Harris, you may want to speak to that.
Yeah, I agree, Judge. It's well constructed. He made everything look nice.
Well constructed, a nice looking bridge.
Great, nice guy, good to work with, and very accommodating to anything that we had, issues that we had with him. Very easy to get contact and be in touch with. So, yeah, he did a good job on the Church House Hollow Bridge.
Judge, we do need to be careful and award, if the court awards these bids tonight, to award them contingent upon the receipt of the state money.
Correct.
Which Mr. Stacy indicated.
Need a motion to award on the receipt of the state money from the state.
Judge, I'd like to make that motion, and I think you've got the letter that you confirmed.
Yes, we have the letter.
Had been approved for these bridges.
It's been approved. But so we always wait till we get it in hand.
Well, you know.
Our treasurer, is she going to be here to? Okay.
How soon, Mr. Atkins, can you start on these bridges?
Sit down there where you'll have a microphone where they can hear where Bobby's sitting, and you can give me a seat back so that you can be heard.
We can
Now-
start when the county's ready. My understanding is Pike County is going to put the temporary crossings in, and we'd just like to get with you all, and if there's a bridge you would like done first, and, clearly we'd get on that bridge first, but if not, we'd like to do the two up Hurricane Creek first, and while those are under construction, start the one over in Phelps, I guess is what you all call that area.
I was hoping that we could work out something on Rattlesnake where we could leave that bridge in while we build a new bridge, if we could locate it beside of it, because it's gonna be real hard to make a bypass for the people living over there to get in and out.
That was the big
It's the
concern I had
highest
as far as.
bridge, and I just don't see, unless we was to go down the stream there and put a big drain culvert in and let them use that till you got the bridge built. But
I don't have a problem with that, sir. We can, as long as the county's fine with it and you all have the right of ways you need and the room you need, we can construct the bridge.
You
I
just
would
need to make sure
imagine-
and build it on the county property, because if you're building it next to the bridge, that's not, county doesn't own that.
well, Chris, I've been around a little while. I ain't gonna build no bridge on somebody else's property. But I thank you for the legal advice.
I think what's, mainly you get into, even if it wasn't county property, I'm sure they'd be willing to do the appropriate paperwork to allow us to do that. And I think that would be your best bet, because the retaining walls there would be around 16 feet high, so that would be a big obstacle to try to put a temporary crossing in.
It's gonna be
so.
tough, with the room you've got to work with there on that bridge. And what the gas company did, they went in there a few months ago and just put a temporary bridge on top of the bridge that we have now to get their heavy equipment in. And after they left, they just took the bridge down. So I guess as soon as we get the okay from the state, which I think it is, Judge, John just has to call and find out when the money's
We'll
gonna
check
be
with
available.
Frank had told me that he was almost certain that they were approved, but I was going to double check with him after we opened the bids to make sure that the money is there, and he's on vacation this week, so I didn't want to just award them and then find out something had happened between the last time I'd spoke to him and today. So, but I'm pretty sure Frank had told me last week before he left that he was almost certain that the money was approved for it.
20% comes out of the road fund, right?
Money has been approved for it. The check has not been received, is my information. I have a motion by Mr. Dodson. Have a second. Have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yeah.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Magistrate Road Work. Motion from Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes. Magistrate's comment. Magistrate Anderson.
I don't have any comments.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yeah, I got two things here, Judge. Last couple of floods that we had in my district, I just had enough to not get any money from the state, for the federal, either one. And now, since it's rained a whole lot, I got slides that covered on top of it. It wasn't enough to
Get a declaration.
but he was just a hanging on a hill, the slides was or something, and now it just started raining, all of it's coming in the creek. At one place on Kelly Mountain, just to get it open back up and everything, it cost me $8,000 in drilling, besides all the water basins I had to get. Then I got some places on Oarsman Fork, and I don't know how in the world I'm gonna fix them all back.
We had 2 washouts after the declaration.
So that's the biggest thing I got, and I don't know how we're gonna come out with it, because it tears the budget all to pieces. Well, anybody wants to come and eat with me at my Christmas dinner, it's on the 15th, on a Thursday at 12 o'clock. Anybody want to come and eat?
Sets a good table.
Like dried beans, green beans, pork chop, or anything you want, we'll try to have.
That's right. If you like leather brushes, he has them up there.
That's right.
Chucky Bean.
I have an onion head, I don't know.
Magistrate Murphy.
Oh, nothing.
Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, I guess might as well deal with this now. It's on the bill to pay for the filters completion on the pool. And we met, what was it, Amos, week before Thanksgiving? And we met with Jan Brown with the state, which is over the pools, and she approved everything. And we decided to leave the water filter like we discussed in the last court meeting. So the pool had dropped about 4 inches over, what, 4 or 5 days, Damus?
Yes.
So we contacted the contractor, and he came in and done a film on the pool. They put dye in it, and he said they found 4 leaks, and he fixed 2 of them, which was kind of easy to fix, and the other 2 were under the concrete that goes back into the pool area, and he said we could fix it ourselves or he would do it, but it wasn't on his contract to do these leaks that's under the concrete. And he said it would be probably around $2,000 to $2,500 ballpark figure if he sent me in to dig it up and repair the leaks, or we could repair them ourselves. And he said he would guarantee it for 1 year on all repair works that he'd done. And me and Damus kindly, I guess, agree that this was beyond his contract, wasn't it, Damus? I mean, the contract he had was to sandblast and seal the pool and paint it and put the filter systems in. And these leaks have been in the pool for some time. We just hadn't been able to find them, and we thought they were coming from the seams in the pool, but evidently they weren't. So I think, John, do we have enough money to go ahead and
The money in that fund.
contract them repairing that? Damon said he could do it, but he didn't know when, and winter's coming on, and we need to get the pool winterized.
I think you straight out with 140-some thousand in that line item, so I don't think you've expended all that with the recreational account.
So, Damus, if it's your pleasure, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and let you get a contract with him to repair them leaks and get them done as soon as
County
we...
attorney amend that contract? 2,500 would make no difference anyway. But go ahead.
I understand this is a separate problem than the other contract, so this would be a new contract, and it's clearly under the 20,000 limit.
Have a motion by Magistrate Dodson. Have a second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
And
Yes.
Judge,
Magistrate Dodson.
while we got Mr. Atkins here, I guess we'll probably be seeing more of him. He is our new supervisor over in Buchanan County there. He took Terry Hall's position, and we will be probably dealing with him on these new road projects that we've started over there. And I just wondered if you've been in contact with anybody. I know you don't take office till what, January 1.
Terry, would you come around to the microphone, please, so it can be heard?
I attended the Board of Supervisors meeting in Buchanan County yesterday, and the Elk Creek Tunnel, was talked about there briefly. I think there were some problems with the railroad there. We had to have Turtech Engineering send some more information over to them as far as the easement there and a couple different things. One of the problems I'm sure you all are aware of is the landowner there is causing the coal company some problems as far as doing some backfill there, and that was one of the questions I had for the county attorney. It was my understanding that there was a truck that was repossessed, and the bank had put a lien or whatever on this $40,000 that Buchanan County had sent over to Pike County. And that was creating some kind of problem as far as getting him paid and to where he wouldn't have any involvement in the property there. And I guess my question to Pike County, has that been resolved, or is there some way of eliminating this bank from being involved where we can get these people paid and move forward with this?
It's a very complicated situation. Basically, the money's been paid into court. The fellow that's doing most of the raising the cane now has no ownership interest in the property whatsoever. We have a right of entry. The situation that arose is, it turns out that the individual that died had some debts that have to be paid, and some of the heirs are not happy that the debts are being paid. But we have paid the money in the court. We have an interlocutory judgment giving us the right of entry. We also have the administrator of the estate who has given us full authority and permission to enter the property whenever we want to. And we have a tentative agreement worked out with him to purchase the property, on a price for the final purchase of the property. The holdup is the heirs are wanting all the money and don't want any of the creditors paid. And obviously the administrator's not going to agree to that, because they would go against his bond if he gave all the money to the heirs and didn't pay the creditors. So that's where we're at on that situation. But it's working its way through courts and will be, but we have an interlocutory judgment, and we have right of entry to that property. And I'm going to talk to Magistrate Dotson at the meeting tonight to bring him up to date. But as far as I'm concerned, we need to get a deputy, a constable, a sheriff, or somebody with our department to go cut the cable down. We have a right of entry to the property.
That would be a good thing, you know, with winter coming up, and I'm sure Mr. Dotson's aware of the problem with the ice down there coming in now, that tunnel. There's been several people that's had accidents there, so if we could get that cable cut down, and just simply for the fact that they could, cross the tracks there, and it is paved over the tracks as of now, but if we could get it to where they can cross back and forth over the tracks there in icy weather and high water conditions, that'd be a big plus for us. And then, if we continue to have a problem out of the guy that has an interest in the property there, and I would imagine you all would have the Sheriff Kaiser here to take care of that. Maybe have a deputy or somebody talk to him and eliminate the threats to the coal company there, where they can proceed with filling that property in there for us. So.
Mr. Adkins, thank you. I think you live right at the state line. Or you live.
I actually got a place up camper. My mother and
you're in Kentucky and Pike County about every day.
I am, sir. My mother and her husband live right up on Camper. We're one of these places there. My mother's partners with me in my business, so we do a little business there, some in Virginia and some in Tennessee, so it keeps me pretty busy. But I appreciate the court's time here tonight. Appreciate the opportunity to bid on the bridges, and look forward to working with you on the Elk Creek Tunnel project there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Dotson. Magistrate Harris.
Judge, just briefly, I have historically given Magistrate Dotson a hard time about going to Frankfurt and buying that junk. But now, this last trip that they made, they bought a Hydrotech. And I don't think anybody else that was down there knew what it was, but him's keen eye looked at it and noticed it and bought it. And we've had the blessing of being able to use that thing over and over, and it has paid for itself 10 times already. And so I just wanted to congratulate him on making a good purchase. Hydrotech, well, Hillman, explain to him what it does.
It's a machine that, when you got a drain pipe that's stopped up, you start the hose through the discharge in, and it blows it out as it goes out through the entrance on it. And I've not used it. Chris said his crew has used it several times over there. And we've got it stored in the Phelps road garage right now to keep it from freezing up during the winter months. You got to keep them things drained or keep them in the warm weather. They'll freeze up and bust on you. But I'm sure there's going to be other places in the county that thing will be helpful.
Mr. Hatcher told me they thought that was the best buy they ever made.
I
The
think
price
it cost
is
us
right.
$400 a piece, I believe, what the bill was on it. But,
Mr. Harris. Madam Treasurer.
Authorizing necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Need a motion, a second. Have a motion, second. Master Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson. Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes. Madam Treasurer.
Acknowledge receipt of the previous transfers and interfund transfers on October the 18th and November the 1st. There were none for the 25th.
The motion? And motion, have a motion, a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson. Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes.
Skip over the budget amendment, and we'll do that after come back from executive session. Acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's October 2011 financial statement.
Need a motion?
Second.
Have a motion, a second from Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson. Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $1,200 to Blake and Associates Incorporated for real estate appraising and consulting for the self-contained appraisal on Dovey Simmons Emergency Watershed Protection Program floodplain easement when the funds are received.
Have a motion? Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson. Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $800 to Frank K. Nall on the Dovey Simmons Emergency Watershed Protection Program floodplain easement when the funds are received.
Have a motion, have a second from Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $690 to Advanced Environmental Management Group on the W. Simmons Emergency Watershed Protection Program floodplain easement when the funds are received.
Have a motion, Master Murphy, to have a second. Have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $17,924.44 to the Big Sandy Heritage Center when the LGADF funds are received. It's project ID A372.
Have a motion. Have a motion, have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $25,000 to the Pikeville Hope when the LGA co-severance line item project monies received. It's project ID number A396.
Have a motion, Master Murphy, to have a second.
Second.
Have a second, Master Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson. Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson. Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check to Ferguson Excavating and Construction Incorporated in the amount of $46,530.32 for work at the Scott Fork Industrial Park for the gas line. This will come from the LGDF account.
That money is in the budget. Have a motion? Have a motion from Magistrate Murphy. Have a second? Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check to AWI LLC in the amount of $23,500 for the balance due on the work on the swimming pool filter replacement contract at Johnson Bottom, which comes out of Magistrate Dodson's recreation account.
Magistrate, motion by Magistrate Dodson. Have a second, please. Magistrate Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
We've had donation from McCoy Elkhorn in the amount of $10,000 in order to purchase a water truck. I need the authorization for the judge and I to sign a check for $10,000. Who's it for?
Ransom something Township. It's a two-part name, and
Motion,
I forgot the last part.
Magistrate
To
Murphy.
whoever the invoice is supposed to be made payable to.
Motion, Magistrate Murphy, have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
What is that address, Wyoho, Kentucky?
Authorize the issuance of a check for the registration fee of $339 for Deputy Judge John Doug Hayes to attend a Human Resource Law, What You Need to Know Now, on February 23rd, 2012, at the Hyatt Regency in Lexington, Kentucky. Do we need to add any lodging to this?
No, I probably will come back and sleep in my own bed. I'm going to pay the mileage myself because I do get 6 hours of CLE credit, so it's kind of a combination thing, but it is human resource law, and that's a rapidly changing area, and I need to keep up somewhat with that as personnel director of Pike County. So I'm just asking for the tuition.
Motion.
Have a motion, Magistrate Johnson, have a second. Have by Magistrate Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize registration fees and lodging for anyone who wishes to attend the 34th Annual Kentucky Transportation Conference, January 19th and 20th, 2012, at the Hyatt Regency in Lexington, Kentucky.
Have a motion? Motion, Magistrate Robinson.
Second.
Have a second, Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Madam Treasurer.
I have nothing else at this time, Judge.
Magistrate Harris, we need to go in closed session.
I'll move we
for
go into
personnel.
executive session pursuant to KRS 61, 810 C and F to discuss specific personnel matters pending or threatened litigation.
Motion and a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris? Judge Rutherford?
We need a motion to go back into session. We have a motion, have a second. Magistrate Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Here.
Magistrate Johnson? Magistrate Murphy?
Here.
Magistrate Robinson? Here. Magistrate Dodson? Here. Magistrate Harris?
Here.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Judge Hayes, personnel, please.
Personnel has the following recommendations, Judge. We had 2 posted jobs. The first was truck driver, road lot number 1 at Johns Creek, a 3H position. And we had 2 bidders, Judge. One of the bidders, however, after bidding for the posted job, informed personnel that he wanted his name removed. We have honored that request. That leaves as the only bidder Plenty May, and we would recommend him for that position. Second posted job was a mini packer driver, solid waste area number 3 at Robinson Creek. That's a 3H position. Also, only one employee bid on that position, Darrell Roberts, who is a temporary employee. He does have a Class A CDL, and we recommend Darrell Roberts for that position. Finally, Judge, we had some other matters that we need to bring to the court's attention. We need to acknowledge the resignation of Stephen Newsom from Solid Waste Area number 2. That's effective November 30. We would request that the court approve a 6 months extension on workers' compensation leave for Timothy Lester. He's been off work since June 13, 2011. We need approval to hire John David Friend as a temporary replacement mechanic at the Ford Mountain Maintenance Garage. That's at a 5H pay rate. He will be replacing Randall Hill, who is off on workers' compensation. His effective date of employment would be November 21st, 2011. Finally, we need approval to hire Joshua D. Hilton as a replacement loader for solid waste area number 2 at a 2H pay rate. That would be effective 12/1/2011. He is placing the aforementioned Stephen Newsom, who's resigning, and that job will be posted in the next few days.
That will be my recommendation and my motion. Have a second? Have a second?
Second.
Second, Magistrate Anderson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Judge,
Mr.
I got
County
one-
Attorney.
Oh, sorry.
Judge, we have a first reading of a budget amendment. It's an ordinance relating to fiscal year 2011-2012 annual budget and amendment thereof. Section 1 in summary form, total amended revenues of $17,987.41. Total amended appropriations, $17,987.41. That will be a first reading of a budget amendment.
Okay.
This is for the money donated for the 10,000 on the water truck, and the other is where there was some steel stolen at the new judicial center construction, and we got the builder's risk insurance reimbursement. We have to pay it back to the public properties or the project development board account.
Madam Treasurer, that is pass-through money. Have a motion? Motion from Magistrate Robinson. Have a second?
Second.
Don't have to do it?
We do second reading next time.
Oh, that's what that was. Excuse me. She was explaining. Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Have a motion?
Judge, I got a couple things I need to get court approval. I've been asked, first thing was Coal Run Fire Department. I mentioned the Damus. We got some repairs that may be needed. They got some roof leakage, and he said he may be able to go down tomorrow and look at it. And then I have been asked by the fire chief over at Golden Air. We're over there doing some work right now, and they're wanting like a small pump house type built, and I've got some parks money. I just want to get court approval to do that.
Is that a motion?
It's motion.
Have a motion to have a second?
Second.
You have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Yes. Magistrate Harris? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Did you understand both things? Okay. A motion to adjourn. Motion. Magistrate Harris, have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson? Johnson? Murphy? Robinson?